What we did is we thought of a million ideas and we joined them up. And the best way of joining them up was in a factory scenario. So everybody got all the ideas they could. And unfortunately, we couldn't fit half the ideas we came up with in there, you know, like where the music goes down into the treble clef, where we wanted stairs, piano stairs, and each time it went down a step, a different note would go in a million things. It would have been a great 15-minute commercial, but 15 mil commercial too. Yeah, it was a mountain of work.
Yes, I can imagine. I suppose you're all close to the end of your tether by the end of it.
Well, we'd seen that commercial by the time it went to air over 4,000 times.
Are the clients happy with it?
Oh, they love it, actually. Yeah, they're really happy. I think at the time, you know, it just took so long. It was a full 6 months, and there was nightmare after nightmare. Like, on the radio shot, we ruined 7 radios trying to get the blast right. And, you know, I think we were in a studio 50 feet high, and the roof each time would get scorched by the blast. So it was a really dangerous kind of scene, and just complete relief when it was all over.
No wonder you paid so much, all that danger.
Absolutely.
Yes. What's the other ad we've got? It's the animation one, isn't it?
Yeah, the action cat and fish ad David Droger and Marcus did, which a few people might have seen, claymation.
Okay, well, let's roll it.
My friend here has a bad cold. Isn't that right? I've just the thing to fix it. New Action Cold and Flu Relief. There we go. Because Action is soluble, it works fast. There's even vitamin C in Action. So you feeling better, little buddy? Good. I'd hate to have caught your cold.
For effective relief from a cold or flu, take Action.
It's been a bit of a risk. The first time I saw that ad, I thought, it's got a bad ending, as in, you know, something ugly happens.
Death, yeah.
Was that a problem?
Yeah, I don't know, really. Yeah, everybody said that, you know, should you show death? But remember the old picnic commercials? Where the guy would go, Indians?
Oh, that's right.
Remember those? They were great commercials.
But we wanted him to die.
Exactly. Well, I think,
preferably a lot earlier in the ad.
We're all for having snuff TV commercials. We're trying to bring them in.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, why not? A bit of death.
Yeah, just cinema verite. Go out in the streets and film it as it happens and whack a product on the end of it.
Absolutely.
Yes. What campaigns would you like to work on in the future? Are there ambitions?
Well, yeah, what we like to do is we want to do as much community service as possible. We just did a campaign for Lady Mirrors.
This isn't expunging guilt feelings about income or anything, is it?
No, it's generally, you know, like when you get up in the morning and you say, what do you do for a living? And it's you know, making rich men richer, really, and selling cornflakes. And it's hard to, you know, really say that you're doing something extraordinary. So the more community service stuff we do, the better we feel about it. And, you know, advertising can play an enormous part in changing people's perceptions, not just which aftershave to use, but, you know, in healthcare or disease stopping.
You seriously believe that?
Yeah, I do. Advertising changes people's opinion, no doubt.
Very few ads on television or community service, of course, for various reasons. Therefore, I take you back to what I was asking you before about ads reinforcing racist or sexist stereotypes, or indeed creating false needs. Surely then you'd seem to have just argued against yourself, because if ads can influence people that strongly.
Well, it depends on the situation. I think, you know, when it comes to public service, ads can easily convince people of a situation they may not have been aware of, or they can put an argument that hasn't been heard before, and can be very convincing. But, you know, I don't, I think, you know, half the time ads don't work, or most of the time ads don't work, but it all depends on who writes the ads, really. And we pride ourselves on doing ads that do work, you know. I don't think it's that hard to do ads that work, really. It's just that the majority of them don't.
Okay, I'll give you a challenge, a quick creative challenge. Imagine Christ was coming back to Earth. I know a lot of you won't believe this, but imagine he was. How would you promote that? If you brought it to ABC publicity, no one would know, but how would you do it?
Right, short deadline.
Big job, though, big job.
It's a big job. I have to have a heavy campaign. You have to go for 40 days and 40 nights at least.
Yes, I think so. Perhaps a rain of Pepsi.
I don't know, you'd have to modernise it somehow. Maybe get a video clip, get, you know, the Mother Mary to do a cover version of Madonna's Like a Virgin or something.
Yeah. No, perhaps a duet, you know, maybe in Cher's Body Stocking. It has occurred to me too that the kind of meek and mild Christ image is a no-no, really. I think most people associate with go-getters now, don't they?
Yeah, maybe we should get Clint Eastwood to play him or something.
Yeah, so actually, I mean, the Christ can do the miracles, but actually get Clint to do the TV appearances. And would you, I mean, do you have a slogan? Is there one coming off the top of your head here?
Slogan.
Deadline, Simon. Hundreds of viewers out there watching this.
Christ, thank God he's here.
Very good, yes. I'm impressed, and I personally will pay $500,000 just for that. Simon Reynolds, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be back after this break.
Being women, I think we all know about you-know-what, because we all get it. And really, that's what makes us all women. The fact that we do all get our you-know-what once every you-know-when. And it's not nice. Particularly when you have to, you know, with those, when you get you-know-what. And worst of all, you-know-what yourself, you-know-where, you-know-when. But now all that's changed, because now we've got this special thing, so that you can use one of those when you've got you-know-what, without actually having to you-know-what yourself, you-know-where, at all. So much more natural, if you know what I mean. New non-touch you-know-whats, available now at all chemists.
Of course, advertising isn't always about big bucks and special effects. With many people, it's a case of making the best use of what you've got and some good old-fashioned ingenuity. One such case is the remarkable Barry Hansen.
This is Barry Hansen, Creative Director of AAA Advertising, a modern success story. Good evening, Barry.
Good evening.
Barry, you've worked on some pretty famous campaigns, haven't you?
Yes.
Would you like to tell our audience which ones?
Katie's.
Katie's, yes. Take your time, Barry.
Decore.
Decore. And?
Malibu.
And Malibu, right. Now, Barry, tell us, what was your creative inspiration for these ads?
Oh, get
Mind you, in a democracy like ours, not everyone agrees with, well, with my opinion, which, frankly, I think is one of the basic flaws in the democratic concept. I mean, why can't we come up with something more useful, like a democratic junta? What?
Guess what I've got?
I don't care what you've got.
A review of your TV show.
Yes, later. Thanks, later.
It's not too good either.
No, I don't want to
hear it.
No, I don't. Thank you.
The money or the gun is quite a disappointment.
Yep.
Hardly surprising when you consider that it's a... Oh, no, not that, you bastard!
Despite a few objections to advertising, I think it's fair to say that...
Andrew, Helen Wellings from the Investigators.
Well, what can I do for you?
Well, I'd like to have my say on this topic, on advertising, if I may.
Well, sure, yeah, sit down.
Just in case
Fabulous.
Something misleading has been said.
Fabulous. Well, Helen, seeing as you're here, we were discussing sexism in ads before. I mean, how do you see the average Australian woman being portrayed through advertising?
Well, sexism is rife in advertisements, and I think women are generally used in advertising in a fairly misleading way, in that it doesn't really reflect reality. Ads often show women as being, well, sex objects, and generally women object to that in surveys that I've looked at. They find that offensive, objectionable, and they're portrayed as being young and attractive and fulfilling men's desires. Older women are often portrayed as, again, being slim and quite attractive in the nuclear family, whereas in fact, in reality, only 51% of situations are the nuclear family.
I'd always imagine the nuclear family to be people sort of fused together with 4 or 5
It's molecules, yes.
Yes, sorry about that. Does this actually affect women, seeing these images of themselves coming through in advertising?
Well, it perpetuates the status quo. I think the idea is that advertising in general, I think, knowingly or unknowingly perpetuates the status quo. This is good because it makes us feel like we all belong in a certain place. And it's good for advertising, it's good for the market, it's good for making people buy. If you make people feel insecure about their situation and not successful, like they haven't quite got there, then they'll be likely to buy something to make them look as though they have got there.
And that's a chief objective of advertising?
Well, yes, image advertising is very important. You buy a car, not so much for practical purposes, but advertising says in many subtle ways that you buy it to fulfil an image of youth, of well, a sex role, that you'll be attractive to other members of the opposite sex. Clothing is the same sort of thing.
Well, yes, some people overdress horribly. Yes, I have a friend of mine who buys cars simply because he expects to find women draped over the bonnet. He never does. He's very disappointed.
Do they include that woman in the price? That's
well,
what I'd like to know.
Well, I don't know.
Then
we'll
it
have
could
to
be
check.
misleading.
You should know. You're the investigator. You've come here with the facts demanding airtime on my show.
Well, I'll tell you then. Prices should actually reflect the truth. There should be an emphasis on truth in advertising. Now, if an ad shows a product with certain things that require it to work, like batteries, for instance, it should say batteries are included or not included.
Yes.
So that ads should really give you the right information to be able to make a decision.
But ads are about information, aren't they? Don't they provide information?
Well, very often ads can provide information. Whether it's the right information is another thing. I mean, take advertisements for cosmetics. Cosmetics, makeup, are often selling hope. Now, they can make all sorts of claims, but whether they're actually scientifically true is another matter. I mean, often I think makeup and therapeutic goods and services make you feel a lot better, so that's good. I mean, whatever you pay for, in some ways you can reap the benefits of it by feeling better.
Well, certainly, like a number 9 blush does that for me. I feel like a new man.
But is it momentary?
Well, I'd rather not talk about that.
There are such subtle ploys. Why do they get psychologists, colour experts, interior designers, a whole range of experts into to say how a supermarket should be set up for a start, and also to design ads to make us buy? Because those people are a lot more clever at us than we are at assessing what's going to make us buy. Now, you can say to someone, did you buy that because you saw the ad? They'll say no. Nine times out of 10 they'll say no, and they will not be able to pinpoint any influences that made them actually buy that product. But you can bet your bottom dollar that there's subtle conditioning that makes them go for a certain brand that they feel is the image that they want to aspire to.
Well, indeed, that Decorate ad using the Duke of Earl song, apparently it increased product awareness by 70% and sales by almost as much. Yes. So, I mean, there's obviously a reason why they spend all that money. You know, I mean, speaking of ads which stick in the mind, that Perrier ad, do you remember the old Perrier ad?
Yes, I do, yes.